I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Are you watching closely?
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
There was one more thing. It probably doesn't mean very much, but I think that Kay was getting scared. I probably have myself to blame for that.
That was the best acting I've ever seen in my whole life.
You silver-tongued devil, you.
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 92 of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe. How are you?
Doing okay, man. How are you doing?
It's always got a constant level of stress inside of me, but apart from that, I'm pretty good. I've had fun preparing for this special, and I assume that this intro is full of very quotable scenes, since the two directors that we're going to talk about today, which is, a special in itself that we talk about two people, have some very iconic movies and scenes.
Yeah. I'm interested in hearing how it turns out as well. Let's see what I find, Let's see what I find. Or what we find.
Yeah, well, probably you.
Yeah. I mean, it's only fitting. I mean, you said you had fun preparing for this. I didn't get around to do that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, you might have to carry the load here. But
we'll see.
It's obviously another special episode 92, and we haven't talked about either Quentin Tarantino or Christopher Nolan yet. And in my opinion, those are like, for our generations, for people who are like in their 20s now, like probably the two most famous directors working today. Wouldn't you say?
Probably, yeah. I think so.
Obviously, like Spielberg and, many other, but like,
of course,
in terms of like growing up with their movies, I feel like those two are like right at the top.
Right. I mean, people 20, 30s, they both got that big break in the mid to late 90s, right?
Is
Nolan
that so?
with
Yeah.
Memento with, I think, 98. I think I looked it up a
Isn't
couple of
Memento
minutes ago.
2000 or something?
Oh, what was 98 then? What he did? Oh, sorry, I think his very first film, maybe Following, which I haven't seen. Spoilers. The only thing that I'm missing of his. For Tarantino, of course, it was 92 with Reservoir Dogs, right?
Yeah. Yes. And we thought it would be interesting to not talk about just Quentin Tarantino's films or Christopher Nolan's films, because there's limited amount of picks to choose from. They have, there would be little to no surprises if we just did it around one of them, right? So
maybe.
We thought, well, yes, because they don't even have like 10 films, right?
I don't know how many Nolan has, to
just
be honest.
about maybe 10? Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
But we thought it would be much more interesting to actually combine them, throw the two of them together, their filmographies, and then pick the 10 best things we've seen from both of them, which is a fun idea, in my opinion. But it is a fucking horrible list to put together. I mean, this is impossible.
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, those are all movies that I love. I mean, I've mentioned it before, there are a couple of movies of Nolan's that I'm not a huge fan of.
Okay.
But yeah, Tarantino alone has enough movies to just be considered iconic and fucking classics that I love. And yeah, to put another director in the mix as well, it makes it even harder. And we talked about not just picking, of course, directorial movies, but also written.
Right.
Movies they've written the screenplay for, since there are a couple of movies from of which Tarantino has written the screenplay of, which he didn't direct.
Right. And Nolan too, right? He helped on Man of Steel and
right.
something like that. Yeah, with his brother
Justice
Jonathan.
League, maybe?
Was it Justice League too?
Do something there? No, I don't know.
Maybe he's got like a producer credit or something.
Sure, could be.
I don't know. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. And I haven't said this in a while, but I feel like this is going to be the most different lists. These are going to be the most different lists yet.
You think, how could this be?
Because you're gonna be shocked at some of my omissions.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
I'm sure like Pulp Fiction won't even be in there.
Yeah, I'm sure you will be surprised. Yeah.
But I don't think it will. How can it be that different? But we'll see.
Dude,
We'll
I'm
see.
looking at 2 omissions on my list right now that I reckon will be in your top 5. So
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see. You know, we'll see.
We'll see. I
We've
mean, I
talked
think
about
of
yeah. Sorry.
a surprise or two that won't
Okay.
make your list as well. So
Okay. I mean, we've talked about a few Tarantino films over the years because we've done like Brad Pitt. Obviously, we talked about DiCaprio, and some of those films were on that list. I think with Nolan as well, obviously with DiCaprio again, and with Scarlett Johansson. But there are a couple of films on my list and in their filmographies that we haven't talked about yet, and certainly some of those films are like ginormous, you know. So hopefully this is going to be interesting to a lot of people because they have seen probably all of those films. So we're not even going to go like into plot like we usually do on these picks. We're just going to talk about why we love these films and rave about these great directors. And this is going to be tricky. I am not looking forward to this in a twisted way, you know. So do you want to tell everyone how the show works?
Sure. So welcome back to another special. That was a awful pronunciation. Welcome back to another special episode of The Best Thing We've Seen podcast. Here we talk about the best thing that we've seen from a certain person or genre, or in this case from 2 people at once, like we said, Tarantino and Nolan. And we're going to count down the best thing that we've seen from each person in the form of a top 10 list. We're going to count them down. We're going to start off with our top 10 spot and going to do this in order. No, what's the word I'm looking for?
One after the other?
One after the other. Yeah, thank you. And if I have something on my, let's say, number 9 and you have it in your number 6, we might talk about it then and there. So maybe that's not the best example. If I have it on my number 9, you have it on your number 8, we can talk about it then and there. But if I have it on my number 9 and you say, wait for it, I have it somewhere else because you have it on your number 2, we
if I
might
quote
postpone
Hamilton out of nowhere, you know.
We'll postpone the discussion for later. Yeah, with that being said, I think we can get started.
Let's do it.
We looked this up. It's your turn to start. What's your number 10 from Tarantino and Nolan?
Yeah. This is going to be, I said it for the last time, this is going to be, oh God. So we could have like 15 or 20 picks here if they have 20. I mean, I don't think there's a film that I dislike in any of their filmographies. I think.
Yeah.
We'll talk about those honorables or maybe the omissions later on. But I decided, because I couldn't do it any other way, to just pick my list by like rewatchability factor.
Yes.
That's what I decided on, right? And for that reason, some picks that I actually feel like are better films that I might have only seen once aren't on my list.
Same.
But okay, cool. So my number 10 is probably one of the few films that you don't even like. I just teased it, but I do like this film a lot. So my number 10 from Christopher Nolan and Tarantino, sounds like they both worked on it, is Interstellar.
Yes.
Rave about it. Let's rave about it.
I love this movie.
I know how much you love it.
It's got love in it and spaceships and it's so good.
Yes.
No, I'm not a huge fan. Yeah.
We got to say this. You missed this in theaters, right? And you could argue that's a big cinematic experience.
Yes, but I think I might have enjoyed it more just because, you know, the feeling of most Christopher Nolan's movies are just better in theaters. I mean, it's a sci-fi movie. It looks better. Right. It sounds better, I'm sure. But just the plot points and the ending where mix some German in there, whatever. Did you? I think so. We're so disappointing to me that I think no matter where I saw this movie, I still wouldn't have liked it. Or at least as much as the hype was around this movie.
Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah. I mean, those are just such big movies, such classics. I think we can do them. Yeah.
I wasn't planning on doing that, but I feel like throughout this whole episode, we shouldn't shy away from spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't seen that film, then please do so beforehand, because they're all worth it, in my opinion.
I mean, there are time codes in the videos.
Yes.
Just skip ahead to the next pick.
Yes. So Interstellar, I mean, I actually I have to admit, I liked it more the second time I saw it too. I saw it in theaters the first time. I was a bit overwhelmed by it.
Okay.
I did enjoy it more the second time. And by the way, it's funny if you look back on it now. This film came out in 2014 or something like that.
Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, we don't have to say this. This is a Christopher Nolan film. Tarantino has nothing to do with this one. But now looking back on the cast, I mean, it's got Timothée Chalamet
in a very young minor role. Minor.
He plays a young
Ben Affleck.
Casey Affleck.
Casey Affleck. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right. Is it young Casey Affleck? It's got to be, right?
Or is it his son?
That's what I'm thinking. See, the preparation on this podcast is second to none. Second to none. And I don't blame you because you don't even have this on your list. But isn't he Casey Affleck's son?
Could be, yeah. And Casey Affleck is Matthew McConaughey's son, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
no, but then
and then he's older, and I think he has a son. I think it's Timothée Chalamet, but I am not sure at all.
I'm looking this up because I don't want to. Not on the first pick, but where? Okay, where is he? Where's Casey? Tom. Okay, no, they're both playing the same guy.
Okay. He plays Matthew McConaughey's son.
Yes, Matthew McConaughey's son. The young version is Timothée Chalamet. You got Casey Affleck, and then you got obviously Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain. Ellen Burstyn, obviously Michael
Felix
Caine.
Leiter, right?
Is Felix Leiter? Felix Leiter is, by the way, the Bond character, which I love that you.
I know.
Oh, that was on purpose?
I never remember his real name. Yeah. There was a purpose.
Is he in this?
I think so. He's the guy who's quite old when they come back. Hathaway and him, right?
No.
And Conaughey. Wasn't it him? Maybe I'm
the
mixing
crew
it up
member?
right now. I think so.
No, that wasn't him.
Okay. It's been a long time since the only scene that I remember with that character was when they come back and he's old, and I just picture his face for some reason.
No, that's David Gyasi. I'm on the IMDb page right now.
Okay.
I think that's the actor. I apologize if it's a different one, but I think that's him. What's the guy's name?
David Oyelowo.
David
Oyelowo.
School
principal.
in the beginning.
He's a big actor as well, right?
Yes.
His name seems so familiar. Who is he?
Well, he's been...
Gringo! That's where I know him from. Okay,
Yes.
sorry. The face just seems so... No, but he's a school principal. I'm sorry, yeah.
And Felix Leiter, you were talking about Jeffrey Wright. From Bond, right. But
Who's
Interstellar...
Gyasi? I'm so sorry. I'm all over the place. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think Gyasi is the guy that you meant. The crew member that when they come back.
Daniel in Annihilation. Oh, okay. Fuck this. Okay, let's move on.
If you're still listening to this episode 13 minutes in or 50 minutes in, why would you? I mean, but this kind of insight is you can only get that on the Best Thing We've Seen podcast, you know? But Interstellar, I mean, it's a sci-fi spectacle, which we're going to talk about, or we're going to say a few times, especially talking about Nolan's films today. The guy has made it his genre, wouldn't you say? Sorry, what did you say before? Sorry.
Did he do any big other sci-fi movie? Okay, maybe. Okay, well.
Sorry?
We had this argument before if this is sci-fi.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but also I mean, let's not beat around the bush. Inception, Tenet.
I don't think we'll be talking about Tenet here.
No, but I'm listing sci-fi films.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
And, well, okay. He made time his thing more than anything.
Fair enough. Oh,
right.
Oh, no, that's beautiful.
Right. And Interstellar, I mean, it worked for me, right? The sci-fi epicness of the whole thing, but then the emotional scenes of Matthew McConaughey watching the videos of his kids all grown up, right?
And,
yeah. By the way, the Jessica Chastain, the kid actor who plays her, I think Mackenzie Foy is her name. I said this before. I think we talked about this film on an episode before. It's one of the best castings in terms of lookalikes. I totally buy that Mackenzie Foy is a young Jessica Chastain. So I really got to point that out. But that emotional aspect of Matthew McConaughey, sacrificing himself for the greater good and seeing his kids growing up in minutes or hours for him and watching the videos back, obviously, and then in the end meeting his daughter as an old woman. I mean, those are all these emotional scenes that sort of carry the film, and if they don't work for you, then I understand maybe why the film doesn't work for you as a whole. Those scenes really worked for me, and I mean, I think it's a beautiful film in many ways. Visually, when they go through that black hole, in terms of like sci-fi, bombastic sci-fi visuals. I think it doesn't get much better than that in recent years. And yeah, I had one other point that I just lost. Well, what did you think about the film?
Yeah, I do agree with how it looks. What I remember of this movie, it looked pretty fucking good. Like I like the design of the spaceships, of like you said, the wormhole, like the other planets, what they see. I thought it was well made. Like I said, it's just some of the emotional scenes didn't work for me. Like the dialogue seemed to be too serious in a way from what I remember.
Okay,
a bit too cheesy maybe. And like I said, the ending with revealing that love is the answer is, I saw a big sci-fi movie. I was expecting more than, a Christmas movie,
I mean, sure. That's actually what I was going to ask you. Was that the thing that bothered you, that love is the sixth
element or something?
Is it element or fifth element?
Whatever.
Sixth element?
I don't know what it is. Just, it seemed like such a cool thing, like, maybe aliens grabbing through space and then it's just himself and it was all,
No, but that's
fun
cool.
Journey. Yeah, it just didn't work for me. I'm sure there are other movies that, build it up to be only, a very philosophical answer to a big sci-fi epic, which is all right. We got this in a lot of movies and I do enjoy it. It just didn't work for me here.
I mean, fair enough.
Is the old woman in the end just to get thing with old people makeup, or is it actually an older person thing?
No,
I don't remember.
Ellen Burstyn, the actress from Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, good for her.
Good for her getting some work. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah. No. That's her, yeah.
Sure, okay.
And obviously John Lithgow, who I know you're not the biggest fan of, as
I like
father.
him since I've seen The Crown.
Right. Well,
Since
there you go.
He's amazing as Winston Churchill.
There you go. Yeah, great music. I mean, really beautiful music. I think this is also scored by Hans Zimmer, isn't it? Yes, it is. Of course it is.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. It's Matt Damon's best role. Let's move on.
Matt Damon?
You forgot that Matt Damon was in this?
Remembered, yeah. As the Martian, right?
As the Martian. As the Martian. This is the prequel to The Martian, yes.
So my number 10 is a movie that's sure as hell not going to be on your list. It's a movie that we actually saw together. It's True Romance, written by Quentin Tarantino.
Why wouldn't this film be on my list?
I remember you liking it but not loving it, and there are so many other movies to be making your list that I don't expect it to be on there.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you're right, but yeah. I like the film.
Yeah, True Romance, we saw this together. I loved it. It is directed by Tony Scott. Fun thing is, I clicked on Tony Scott, the brother of Ridley Scott, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
On his IMDb page. And like the first thing, known for, you might know them from Donnie Darko. I was like, what the fuck did he do had to do with Donnie Darko?
Right.
So I looked it up. He's got a special thanks on Donnie Darko.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I know him from. Yeah.
It's the first thing. It's like, you might know them from.
Sure.
Okay. But other than that, True Romance, it's a great film. Maybe lesser known than most of the films coming up on this list. I would think so.
Yes.
Still not unknown in any way, but still. Also, fucking hard to find. Couldn't rewatch it. Not on Netflix, not on Amazon Prime, not on Disney Plus, not on Apple TV. Couldn't find it anywhere. But True Romance, it is a very cool love action drama comedy. Very Tarantino-esque from the story. I mean, it is written by him. It's also my number 10 because it's only written by him, but it stars Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette, who fall in love. Patricia Arquette, a prostitute hired for Christian Slater's birthday, but the two of them fall in love, marry, and steal a lot of drugs, and take off for LA. And it's their journey there, the trouble that they get into, and the people following them. And it's got a hell of a cast. I mean, Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, I just mentioned, but it's got Dennis Hopper, Val Kilmer, Christopher Walken, Brad Pitt, Samuel L. Jackson, James Gandolfini. I mean, crazy. I mean, Brad Pitt in a very small role. So
but in a
bit
great
of a stoner.
Role.
Yeah.
Right. Is it Lloyd? No.
Oh, could be.
Oh,
no
please
idea.
let it be Lloyd. No, it's Floyd. I'll
give you that. I'll give you that. It is a fun movie. It's got some very fun scenes. I mean, like I said, the dialogue very reminiscent of any Tarantino movies. There's this very funny scene with Christopher Walken insulting a couple of mafia guys to help his son out, and not to give them any information. I mean, just the premise is such a funny one of them just falling in love. And I love the chemistry between the two characters. I wish I could have rewatched this movie, but it's one of the most different movies that I had seen at that point, I think, just from what I expected from it, and I loved it.
Yeah. I actually forgot that we watched this together. I just looked it up. You're right. October 2015. I logged it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been 6 years.
It's longer, actually.
Yeah. It's funny because I should have looked into this more, but I think obviously Tarantino, I think he wrote 3 films that he didn't direct. I believe it's 3.
From Dusk Till Dawn, True Romance, Natural Born Killers.
Right. And I believe, maybe you have this on your list, I'm not sure, but I believe Natural Born Killers is directed by Oliver Stone. And was Natural Born Killers before True Romance? I think it was, right?
Think so, but I'm not sure. Could be.
94.
Let me look this up.
No, it was 94, and True Romance was 93.
Oh, okay.
But I think Tarantino is happy with True Romance because of the collaboration with Tony Scott. But I do think he wanted to make Natural Born Killers himself, but Oliver Stone sort of... I watched an interview or something, or I listened to something like a month or 2 ago, and I can't quite remember the specifics of it. I feel like Tarantino has never... He talked about like he hasn't seen Natural Born Killers ever because it's like Fincher with... Well, it's not like Fincher with Alien 3 because he actually got to make it, but it's like he kind of wants to distance himself from the film because he
was
wanted
taken
to...
out of his hands.
Right. I think that's the case with Natural Born Killers. I hope I'm not mistaken.
Could be, yeah.
But with True Romance, I feel like he's very proud of that film. But Quentin, if you're listening, I mean, I apologize if I'm mixing things up. Maybe it's the other way around. We'll pretend like he's listening. We'll pretend like he listens to podcasts.
He does that, yeah.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, I enjoyed this too. Obviously, Val Kilmer as Elvis, right? Doesn't he? Isn't he? Yeah, with the gold jacket.
But I don't quite remember his role.
I don't either, to be fair.
There's so many things that I don't remember about this. I remember scenes with them like meeting the is it the pimp where they rob him?
Gandolfini?
There's so many. Was it him?
I remember a fighting scene in a motel. Wasn't that with Gandolfini and Patricia Arquette?
There's so many scenes that I like have this very foggy images of in my head, but can't quite make them out. And yeah, that's sadly also why it's my number 10.
Yeah. I also remember Walken like more than many other things, like his sort of monologue as well while he's sitting down Christian Slater, and he talks about like, doesn't he talk about
Sicilians?
Yeah, right. Oh, it's a good film.
One of the scenes that stuck in my head for a long time, and I think months or years, I couldn't figure out where this quote came from. Till it came to me when Christian Slater and I think her are in a diner. I hope this is this movie. I thought I figured it out. Sit in the diner and he just keeps looking at the TV and she's like, "Oh, you want those creepy or crazy dudes that can't keep their eyes off a TV once it's somewhere in the room, right?" And I have to think about this every freaking time I'm in a restaurant, whatever, and there's a TV on.
Right.
My eyes always go to the TV, and I actively try to avoid it with that quote in my head.
Yeah. I need to rewatch this for sure. It's been a while. It's been like 6 years, and but it's a good film for sure.
Right. So what's your number 9?
I don't know if this is making your list. I got another Nolan on my 9th spot, which is Insomnia.
Ooh, it's sadly didn't make the cut. I rewatched it for this special. Enjoyed it very much once again, but didn't quite make the cut.
Okay. Yeah, this is, and maybe we'll talk about the equivalent film in Tarantino's filmography as well, but I feel like this is the one Nolan film that sort of stands out in terms of like it being the most straightforward and most unlike Nolan film in a way. This is a very straightforward film and not like, it doesn't have those gimmicks that we're used to from Nolan. I mean, it's one of his earlier films. I think it came out in like 2002 or something like that.
Could be.
But he had done like Memento previously, and obviously following. Sorry, but
The classic.
the classic, yeah. But Insomnia, it's a detective story. Al Pacino versus Robin Williams, and it's not often that you get to see Robin Williams in a villainous role. And it's great. I mean, obviously Hilary Swank is in this as well, and it's sort of them, Swank and Pacino working together to catch a serial killer played by Robin Williams, and
Not serial killer. I thought so as well.
wasn't it
but
like or a child?
He's brought in to investigate one murder. He killed one person at least. I don't think he killed any other people than that.
Okay, it's just one.
Yeah, I thought so as well. Yeah, but no.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I think you rewatched this. You said
Yeah, like a week ago.
Perfect.
Less maybe.
So you can help me out here. But it is set in Alaska, right?
Yes.
Which is a great little, once again, a gimmick because Insomnia, Al Pacino's character can't sleep because it's like bright throughout the whole day, and he has to like barricade his hotel room to sort of make it seem like it's night. That doesn't really work, and that also is part of the story. Obviously, that he's sort of he's lacking sleep and he can't really focus on the case. But
yes.
I think if you go into this film expecting another, like especially now knowing Nolan's catalog, you might be a bit disappointed that it isn't as grandiose a story or as intricate of a story. But if you're looking for just a good mystery thriller, a cop chasing a bad guy, basically, it's one of the better ones in that genre, in my opinion. With a great cast. Yeah.
I mean, both of them were very good. Pacino and Robin Williams. I mean, how many times do you see him in a villainous role? And he does it surprisingly well for how silly, for what silly roles he's known for.
Have you seen him in a villainous role before?
I can't think of any.
I can think of one other film.
Yeah, what's that?
I don't know if I want to necessarily spoil that. I feel like you would be mad if I spoiled that.
Okay. Interesting.
It's not really a spoiler, but it's sort of, you only realize that he's not really a good guy like 30 minutes into the film. It's not like a twist at the end of the film, but it's like 30 minutes into you realize that the character is not really the best guy.
I mean, it's difficult. I want to know what the movie is, but I don't want to be spoiled. So, drop that movie like in 2 weeks in a casual conversation.
It's the cinematographer is the same guy who did Social Network.
It's look this up right away.
A hint I'll give you. Yeah.
The funny thing is, this movie is apparently based on a Scandinavian movie, on a Swedish movie with Stellan Skarsgård as Al Pacino.
I realized that like a couple of months ago. Maybe I forgot about that. Yes, but I was surprised when I read that a couple of months ago too. Yeah.
Right, because I looked up some trivia and I was like, differences between the original and the remake, subtle differences in the ending and some of how much of a bastard the protagonist is.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. I mean, the premise is very cool. Like, it never gets dark with him coming there and like saying, okay, let's interview some of his friends, let's visit them at school. And it's like, it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 p.m. They're probably all home. So, okay, I guess we'll wait until tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's a cool setting for such a crime thriller.
Yeah,
and also the added element of an investigation that's being started against Al Pacino before he comes there, like internal affairs, because he's maybe not corrupt, but he plays fast and dirty to get results.
Right. And also it stars Maura Tierney, who I think she works at the hotel that Al Pacino stays at.
Yes.
An actress that I really like as well. And I like his interactions, like their interactions. I think I watched some deleted scenes when I last saw the film on the Blu-ray, and there's a couple of more scenes between the two of them.
Of them in the hotel room?
Yeah, just chatting in the bar.
That's nice. Yeah, cool.
I really like her. She was in Liar Liar. And I think, where would you know her most from, Maura Tierney? Wasn't she also in...
I gotta say I recognized her face more than anything, but I couldn't quite place her.
She had to have been in some sort of big show, but maybe it's just Liar Liar that I know her from.
Let me look it up.
Primal Fear, she's in that one. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. Insomnia, I mean, it's a...
Beautiful boy.
Thank you. Oh, you meant the movie? Sorry.
Yeah. You wish.
What do you have? What's on your 9?
My number 9 might be a contentious pick. Inglourious Basterds.
I love it. I fucking love it. Let's talk about it. It's my 7.
Okay.
I thought this would be much higher for you, and I thought this would be a controversial pick for me, that it's so low, but it's actually like 7. Yeah.
I gotta say, Inglourious Basterds, I liked it. It just didn't live up to the hype for me.
Really?
I mean, I didn't see this in cinemas, sadly. I
Right.
saw it like 2 or 3 years after that at a friend's house, and I had fun. I knew most of the quotes ahead of time, bingo, etc.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably go as far and say, that's a bingo.
That's a bingo,
Just bingo.
But so many scenes, and I still enjoyed it. I had a heck of a time with it. I mean, there's so many quotable scenes with, Antonio Margaretti and Golami.
Yeah.
Which we
Dominic
talked about
De Coco.
De Coco, yes. In the Brad Pitt special. And
It's one of the best scenes, dude.
I think I rewatched it at some point again, and I still had a good time, just not as much as I had with some other Tarantino movies. And the reason for that is there's some great scenes and especially stories, since it tells a story of different groups, and some are just better than others, in my opinion. And I don't want to say I disliked the movie. I still really like this movie. It's a great movie. Just in comparison to the others, I'm just trying to, what's the word? I can't think of any words today. What's happening to me?
I can't help you. I don't know.
Legitimize why it's only my number 9.
Right.
But yeah, why is it your 7? Because it is a well beloved and maybe for some the best Tarantino.
For sure. Dude, I had this when I when I put the list together for the first time. It was like number 10 or almost 11.
Same.
But then you have to be. I think this is one of the. I mean, first of all, Christoph Waltz.
Yes.
Probably as Hans Landa, probably the best Tarantino character, in my opinion.
Ooh,
I mean, it's gotta be
maybe.
up there. It's gotta be up there.
Top 5 definitely.
And the first scene alone of him like interrogating the guy who's hiding Jews under his floor with the milk, with the pipe. Is right? He's got a pipe, right?
I think so. Yeah, this big ass pipe. Yeah.
Yes. That whole scene. I mean, it's again one of the best scenes in Tarantino's filmography. I think he says that too, and I tend to agree with him. And I agree with you that some aspects of the film are more enjoyable than others, especially when we talked about it on the Pit special. I remember, like, apart from that scene where he goes like Enzo Gorlami and Arrivederci, which is a fantastic scene, but other than that, I prefer to spend time with Hans Landa. So that's why on the Pit.
That's a controversial statement.
Yeah, through a screen, but it's got. I think it has to rank somewhat high up on this list, or just Tarantino films in general, because for the scenes that don't work or aren't as enjoyable as others, the scenes that do work are just so freaking amazing. That whole scene with Fassbender in the downstairs pub or whatever it is.
Yes, it's one of your best scenes in the movie.
Yes, I mean, I even enjoy the story of like Melanie Laurent's character, like at the end, like everything. And Tarantino likes to play with history, so this film takes it takes liberties, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. At the ending, he tells fairy tales, and it's enjoyable. At the end, he's got that iconic Tarantino shot of like Pitt and is it Eli Roth?
I think so. No, maybe, yeah.
Or is it the BJ Novak? I don't remember who the other guy is, but him like slicing up the guy's forehead and going like, "This might be my masterpiece." So it's fun in a twisted way, like almost every Tarantino film is. But for those reasons, I wanted to put it somewhat high up on this list.
I gotta say, my 9, 8, and 7, I would all put them on the same spot. And I had at one point, I think, Inglourious Basterds as my 7, and then I had them at 8, and then I had my 9. And then for a while, I wasn't sure if I put it on my list at all. I had trouble putting this in order, so this could as well be my number 7. Just want to say that before we go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your 8 then?
My 8 is. Where is it? All right, let's talk about Oh no, wait, what? Oh, okay. My first Tarantino film on the list is this is gonna be, dude. Get ready to be mad.
Let's go.
Pulp Fiction.
Of course, I gotta say it's higher for me.
Okay. What's your 8?
My 8. I think this is gonna bother you. My number 8 is The Hateful Eight.
That's not on my list.
I know it would be.
Oh, I thought you were like, this is gonna be higher for me.
No,
it doesn't bother me.
I'm pretty sure that it's your least favorite Tarantino, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm very surprised that this is on your list, and I would probably say it's my least favorite Tarantino. Yes, but I still enjoyed it. That's what I meant before. I don't really dislike any of his films.
I gotta say it was also at least my lowest rated Tarantino. So from what I could remember, it was like, okay, what did I see? What haven't I seen? I saw Hateful Eight. And I was like, let's give it another shot. There's so many things about the story that I couldn't even remember.
We saw this together too, right?
Yes, 70 millimeters. Had a heck of a time watching that in the cinema.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I was surprised by how much I liked it. It's higher than Inglourious Basterds. Doesn't have to mean anything. I just rewatch it now. But the movie's close to 3 hours long. We watched it with an intermission. And I watched it in one night. I had such a good time. The dialogue is just so good. I mean, Hateful Eight, it's a Western set in, I don't know fucking where in the mountains. Everything's snowed in, and a couple of weird fucking dudes and some bounty hunters and an outlaw and whatever are all trapped inside this cabin, this house. And it does feel like a play at times.
For sure.
Just because it's this one setting. But of course, it does, of course, also play with flashbacks and what happened at the same time, stuff like that. And I enjoyed it so much. It looked so good. I loved this snowed-in atmosphere. I liked some of the characters so much. And I just laughed out loud at times at some of the statements there. Some characters just were so ridiculous and over the top that I had fun with them. And some were kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
And I thought Jennifer Jason Leigh's performance was really fucking good, as I forgot her name as the outlaw that Kurt Russell's character is trying to bring in.
Yeah, Daisy Domergue.
Daisy Domergue, thank you. And Samuel Jackson, one of, well, not few, but one of like 3 main acting roles in a Tarantino movie. I mean, he plays in pretty much all of them, but I think he's only like one of the leading characters in Hateful Eight, Pulp Fiction, and in Jackie Brown. I would say.
I'd have to think now, but yeah, he's definitely in most of them. Yeah, but as a leading role, yeah, maybe, yeah.
And yeah, I just had a good time. It was better than expected, and like I said, I laughed. The time went by fast for such a long movie, and like I said, the cast. I mean, Samuel Jackson, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Kurt Russell, Tim Roth, like in so many, Michael Madsen,
yeah.
Channing fucking Tatum,
yeah, Bruce Dern. I mean,
Bruce Dern.
Yeah, it's a Tarantino cast for sure, and he brings back his actors. That's great. For me, if I remember correctly, it just took a long time to get to that cabin. Is that right, or is it like only 10 minutes?
Well, like 10 to 20 minutes. I don't think it's that long. It's just him riding along, meeting Samuel Jackson, then meeting the racist sheriff, and then I think they're there.
Yeah. Okay. I don't. For me, it definitely was a bit too long. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, like overall, because I do love these contained films, and as you said, it's really like a play. I really enjoyed the aspect of like once you get to that point where you get the flashback of like Tatum's character, like at Minnie's haberdashery, and you see the whole thing that they had set up beforehand.
Right. Yeah.
Prime Tarantino.
How do you know that's called Mimi's haberdashery? You just looked this up, or you still remember?
That's one of the few names I remember because...
I'm impressed.
Thank you, because I'll tell you why. When the film Bad Times at the El Royale came out, I wrote a little letterboxd review, and I wanted to say that it's basically the film Four Rooms, which I don't know if that's going to be on your list. Another like Tarantino he directed one scene in that film.
Yes.
Have you seen that film?
I have watched it for the first time for this special.
Okay.
I've had it on Blu-ray for quite some time, but I finally watch it now.
Okay, I don't want to steal your thunder if this makes your list. You don't have to say this now, but I just, as my letterboxd review for Bad Times at the El Royale, I just wrote, this is basically 4 rooms at Minnie's haberdashery, because it's sort of like Four Rooms meets Hateful Eight. So I looked up what the haberdashery was called, and it stayed with me for all these years now. So that's why I know Minnie's haberdashery.
I like that comparison, yeah.
Yeah, it really reminded me of that. Ennio Morricone's score, which won, I believe.
Could be, and I think it was the first actual complete score for a Tarantino movie, because he normally relies very heavily on soundtracks, on like already written songs, such as, you know, the very iconic Kill Bill sounds and everything, all already released songs, and that's, I think, one of the most alluring parts of Tarantino movies. There's some classics in there that you might recognize. The other songs that you just discover for yourself through that, and his usage of those songs is just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But I love the fucking score of Hateful Eight. I mean, yeah, Ennio Morricone is one of the biggest and most, critically acclaimed score writers probably out there.
For sure.
And he's written some classic songs, and this movie just sounds great. Like a Western classic, like some horror elements also. I mean, apparently they used an unused song from The Thing for this.
Oh, is that right?
For which also I think Morricone did the soundtrack. And also as a homage to Kurt Russell's character and the Snowden setting.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, great cast. Damien Bashir is in this too, in a great little role. Zoe Bell, the stunt woman, who's in like almost. Yeah,
I love her. I love her.
But to see it in 70 millimeters, and I love I think they shot it with the Ben Hur lenses, the original ones or something like that. I remember that. And it looks great to shoot like such a contained location and such a wide aspect ratio.
I love that ratio when it opens, and it even says with ultra wide
Panasonic or something. Yeah.
Yes. When we saw this in the cinemas, it looked great, and when I watched this even on TV, I wish I had a bigger TV where I watched this. But that's an aspect ratio that's pretty much never used, probably.
Yeah.
Or at least I've never seen it before, apart from like these very old movies. Dude, it's got to be used more. It looks so good. I prefer this way more than the box format.
It's expensive though. But
I'm sure
only Tarantino and a few others can afford that. But yeah.
Like, imagine a Villeneuve movie on that.
Dude, yeah.
Be so cool.
100%. Yeah. So,
what's your 7?
My 7 was Inglourious Basterds.
Oh, right.
So what's your 7?
My 7 is Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Oh, you're combining them, you bastard.
I thought we would be.
It's fine.
All right.
It's actually my 6.
Okay.
Perfect timing. And I just chose the first one, but let's just do
if
the whole
I had
thing.
to choose one, I would have picked the first one as well. But I thought, like, if we were going to go from the 9 Tarantino movies, it's going to be 1.
Sure.
I rewatched the first part for this.
Yeah.
Didn't manage to see the second part. Because it's fun. It's just a very fucking fun movie.
It is fun, but I think I thought about this. This is one of the most affecting Tarantino films that I've seen, because in terms of like gore and brutality in his films, I usually sort of enjoy it and see past it, and sort of look past it, and it's like it never affects me really.
Okay,
but Kill Bill is much darker for me in a way. Just the emotional scenes of it, when she that whole hospital scene, when she first wakes up from the coma or whatever she's in, and she realizes, or she looks at her stomach. Uma Thurman's performance is I remember being scared of that film, and when I saw it first, I actually saw this in theaters, not when it came out, but they showed it at a screening.
Okay.
Afterwards, and I was hesitant to watch it. This was like years and years and years ago, because I wasn't too familiar with Tarantino's work at that point. I'd only seen like Pulp Fiction before that, I think. It starts off like this, like black and white, and Bill is sort of like aiming the gun at her head and then shooting. It just like it barely misses her or whatever, it just hits her. And I was like terrified, and it's still with me because I think Kill Bill is one of my favorite Tarantino films, and with the score as well, with the soundtrack especially, so many great scenes and so many fun scenes and over the top scenes. I mean, that whole thing where she first meets I forgot her name now, but so in that whole fighting scene in the suburban area in that house.
Vivian Green or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgot her name as well.
That's all fun and sort of somewhat, I don't want to say lighthearted, but entertaining. But so many other scenes are really affecting to me. Yeah, I think that's really Uma Thurman's performance more than anything.
I mean, yeah, she's great. And that scene where it's kind of revealed what had happened to her while she was in a coma.
Yeah.
Fucking horrific.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. But apart from that, the fight scenes are fun. They don't look great at times, I gotta say. It doesn't look like they know what they're doing at times. They watch it like other fight movies. They don't look like they're sword masters or whatever, but just charging at each other. But there's this fight scene against the 88
right.
Yakuza, whatever gang of Lucy Liu's character. It's so over the top, and I just caught myself laughing out loud multiple times, where it just rips out an eye, cuts off an arm, people are screaming, and blood is flailing around. It's so much, and it's fun. I gotta say, for like story-wise, I do prefer other Tarantino movies, but just from what goes in there and like the mashup of genres, I had such a fun time than just switching to an anime when talking about Lucy Liu's background.
Yes.
Look great. Very cool thing. It's not just very cheaply done, but it looks actually good. And of course, yeah, good performances. The music, what iconic scene, just the whistle alone. Makes it such a fun experience.
Entrance of Lucy Liu's character.
Yes.
I think that's from like an Asian film. I remember Tarantino talking about this, and he sort of used that little theme and made it world famous, and it's now used in everything, basically.
Yes, there's so many like songs that was like, I've heard this in so many things now, and I think the only reason is because of him, because he digs up these old gems. Yes. And I also watched the episode of Now You See It on Tarantino, which is like comparisons of his interviews and what he talks about, and then showing the original source material of what he used and what he based some shots on.
Yeah.
And you got this with some fight scenes in, for example, also Kill Bill, where like in this very old-fashioned Japanese room, and the lights go out, and it's just this blue light and the silhouettes of everybody, and they fight. Such a cool scene. Yeah,
I agree with you that like from story point, this is not like Tarantino's like most intriguing or maybe interesting. It's a quote unquote simple revenge story, and she puts down all those names and crosses them off one by one. But I think that's what this film needs. You don't need no, I'm serious. Like this is it's about the killings, and it's about the revenge more than anything. And it's you need a story to sort of fuel that and sort of bring the movie along. But it's entertaining, man. It is more than anything. It is entertaining. It's great. It's really great.
Yes,
I love that film. I need to. I started rewatching this like a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately, I don't know. Like not even knowing we're gonna do this, but I didn't continue to watch for no good reason. But it's great. I want to rewatch both of them for sure.
I gotta say, but also just the first one is kind of better. I mean, it is the reason why we would both prefer it. Just a lot more happens there.
Yes.
A lot more fights. I mean, it's more one-on-one fights, I guess, in the second one.
Yeah.
As far as I remember. But it's not as over the top. You got way more training scenes, which are cool. I mean, the sense is very iconic now.
Yeah, dude. I love that. I love that. And Daryl Hannah as I mean, she's from Blade Runner. What was her name in Blade Runner? I love that she's in this.
Ooh.
Plim? No.
Yeah, something with P. Frizzy hair.
Pris.
Pris.
Yeah, I love her part in Kill Bill too. That's the first film I saw her in. I saw Blade Runner much later, and I was like, is that the one from Kill Bill? She looks so different. But yeah,
I for some reason had in my mind that it was Cameron Diaz for a long time.
I can see that. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 7. Your 6, right?
Well, my 6 was Kill Bill. Right?
Right. Yeah.
So your 6.
Crazy. I swear it will be your turn soon.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's good timing so far.
My number 6 is Django Unchained.
That's my 5. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep. No, but dude, the next ones are going to be so different. But perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's my 5.
Django Unchained, I had this higher at first, then I didn't move it. But Django Unchained is fun. It's also just such a fun movie. It's got a dark story as well, but like dialogue-wise and story-wise, it's above Kill Bill. It's got some great action scenes as well. Very over-the-top violence, like this guy getting fucking shot 5 fucking times, blood spurting everywhere. And it is, of course, also a revenge story, in a way.
Sure.
And a rescue story of, Django. And it feels like a great Western with a great little twist on it.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx is great. We've talked about Leonardo DiCaprio's performance in this and his questionable decision to rub blood on a co-star.
We have talked about this on the DiCaprio special. Yes.
I think so as well. I mean, great scene.
It's
poor actress,
fantastic scene. I love that whole scene.
It's good. Also him in general, what a fucking bastard he plays.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson as this very over-the-top character of pretty much the exact opposite of what he usually plays in Tarantino movies, which like the fucking badass who gets in everybody's case and he's just a fucking suck up here.
Yeah.
Which is, harshly sad. The poor guy's still a slave, but Jamie Foxx looking cool as heck at the end of this movie. You got some very strong scenes with DiCaprio, but also, when you see what has happened to the woman that he's trying to rescue, Jamie Foxx's character, very tough to watch that. Yes, Brunhilde.
Yeah.
But also fun exchange with Dr. Schultz, Christopher Waltz.
Again, winning another Oscar.
Yes, for the same role. And just funny scenes of, just putting on the blue fucking outfit and fucking killing and whipping slave owners.
Yeah. I mean, it's bar none my favorite soundtrack, Tarantino
Many
soundtrack.
say that, I think so.
I know,
I've
and you talked about on the DiCaprio special, you mentioned that it's actually like they played it too many times. It's too good.
I've heard it's like when this movie came out, it was like on repeat. I feel like everywhere.
But I saw it in theaters and then I didn't see it for a long, long time. I listened to the soundtrack so many times. So when I finally rewatched it a couple of years ago by now, or for the DiCaprio special, I was like so excited to actually like put scenes to the songs again.
Right.
And dude, I absolutely love this film. I think it might be my favorite Western. It's not my favorite genre.
Ooh, okay.
But I'm missing some.
I mean, it is
as well.
A great movie and a great Western. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like with The Harder They Fall. We talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. I think last week. As like a Western, as you said, with a twist on it. It's like it's got this pulpy element to it, which Tarantino made his own, and I think Harder They Fall, it sort of like tries to be Tarantino. I think Tarantino is very much he's setting the tone here very much, and he's the one that sort of came up with this, if you can say that. But I think you can. And everyone's great in this. Waltz, Fox, DiCaprio as Calvin Candy, dude. One of my favorite performances of his. We talked about this before. This film, it's definitely one of my favorite Tarantino's. Yeah,
and first of all, you talking about the soundtrack. I've had like the Django stuck in my head for some reason. Didn't even rewatch this movie. Don't know why, but it's just such a cool sound. But also about redefining the like, or having a twist on a Western thing. In the Now You See It thing, where Tarantino talks about if you do a Western, you gotta do something original, like redefine it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's kind of not good. And I do agree with that. And it kind of reminded me of why you liked The Harder They Fall, first of all, and also like the Westerns that I do like do something different with the genre. And I think that's absolutely right. If you just do the classic, gunfighters and riding, I think you're gonna get bored fast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my 5. I apologize. You got to keep going.
Well, my 5 is my first Nolan on this list.
Wow. See, that's interesting. Wow. So 10 through 6 was Tarantino only.
Yes.
Wow.
And I am not sure about my number 5, to be honest. First, I had Django on my number 5, then I switched it up. But here we are now with Prestige, as my number 5.
That is higher for me.
Oh, okay.
So my 4, right?
Yes.
My 4 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Let's go, mine too.
Perfect. Perfect. Another one that we talked about in the DiCaprio special.
Yes.
For good reasons. I mean, I have rewatched it since. And to me, it is honestly baffling how good this film is. Like, you have Tarantino's filmography before this film when it came out in 2019, and you're like, this guy's amazing, right? He solidified himself as one of the best directors working today, in my opinion. I can only go from my opinion.
Sure.
I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So when that came out, you're like, it's going to be good, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be his best. I think you could argue this is, maybe not his best, but it's definitely one of his best films.
Yes, definitely.
And DiCaprio's performance, dude. We talked about this again. Pitt got all the the laudits. I think that's right. He won the Oscar for it, rightfully
Yes.
so. DiCaprio was nominated too, but for me, the standout is DiCaprio as Rick Dalton. So many quotable scenes when he freaks out in the trailer, which I put in the intro, I think, with the or when he forgets his lines. I love that. Just lines. I can't impersonate him, but yeah, I was so gobsmacked how good this film was, with the ending when he comes out with the flamethrower that was introduced in the beginning, when he goes like, is there any way we can make this less hot? And the guy just goes like, no, Rick, it's a flamethrower. I was like, okay, thank you.
The fun thing is, apparently this was also like an outtake.
Really?
It was like genuinely DiCaprio.
No
saying
way.
That.
Was it really?
They just played along. Apparently.
That's
Maybe he
fantastic.
said it and then they reshot it with that scene
Right.
included in the screenplay. But apparently, yeah, it was him.
That's
Just
fantastic.
like, they could make it less. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's one of the best performances from both Brad and DiCaprio. We've had it on both lists quite high from both these actors.
And
the
Margot
fight
Robbie's
scene-
good.
Margot Robbie, she's such a sweet character in this. I love the scene with, first of all, the parking lot fight scene with Bruce Lee, but also just Kurt Russell's character just not wanting to throw Brad Pitt's character out and just his wife Zoe Bell once again. Just not tolerating him, and it's funny, and it's just always funny, no matter how fucking shitty it is, except for the one scene at the ranch, which is tense as fuck also.
Yes.
So you got so many things in there. You got one of the funniest, most obscure, violent endings that I've ever seen in a movie. And I've never heard so many people laugh at that level of fucking violence. And yeah, it was surprising. It was something new. And it is, I think we said this in the Pitt or in the DiCaprio special, both.
Yeah.
Such a love letter to movies in general, like most Tarantino movies are. And I mean, Bounty Law is going to come out at some point, so I'm excited for that.
Is it? Because I think they released, didn't he release like a 4-part series of the film on Netflix already or something like that?
Oh, did he?
This was like already years ago, maybe
Don't
1 year
think
ago.
so. I think it's only
Talked about it.
announced.
I mean, he did a novel of it now, obviously, that he's promoting now again, because there's a new edition of it out. I think they released, because he, as you said, he shot like a couple of episodes of Bounty Law, and he's got so much unused material. But I think maybe just in the States, he released like an extended cut in like a mini-series format already. I think he did that.
That would be cool. But I haven't heard of it, but maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
I'd love to see it.
I think so. But I think what best describes Tarantino films, another thing that I thought about in preparation for this, I don't think you can, like, imagine you're standing in front of like a shelf of Blu-rays, right?
Sure.
You can say like to your friend or partner or just to yourself, I'm in the mood for a Tarantino film. I think what this guy has done is sort of like create his own genre in a way. I'm not going to say like, let's watch a Nolan film, right? I'm going to go, let's watch Interstellar or whatever. But if to me, it feels like you pick out that Blu-ray or that DVD from your shelf and you know exactly what you're going to get with a Tarantino film. And it's like opening like a good old book and, seeing the author's handwriting, or sort of the dude made his films and in a certain way that it all fits together in a twisted way. And I think that's an incredible achievement more than anything. Yeah, I really have so much respect for the guy, because foot fetish and all. He's a good director.
I started really paying attention to that when I rewatched some of the movies, but it's crazy. Like in Death Proof alone.
I know.
But apart from that, yeah, definitely, it's got its own genre. It's so many times when I see another movie, and I think like it's so Tarantino-esque.
Yeah.
Got so many elements of that, and that's why he's beloved. There's this silver lining that goes for all of his movies. That's just pure fucking entertainment.
Yeah, and it's a shame that he's only going to do one more.
Yes, well,
supposedly
he says he's going to do one more. Yeah,
I actually think that's the case, though. I think he's going to direct one more, and then he's going to write for the rest of his career. But
maybe I could imagine he goes like on a hiatus for like close to 10 years, and then comes back with one last time.
Like Miyazaki.
Yes, like Miyazaki coming back again and again. We'll see. I wonder if his latest movie is ever going to come out. I think I watched like an interview like 1 or 2 years ago. At that point, the movie has been in development for, I don't know, 5 years, close to.
No, but there was another one. Like a couple of weeks ago, he announced another one.
What, Miyazaki?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's crazy because in that interview, like a year or two ago, he was like, oh, okay, they're 10% finished. After years of working on it.
I don't know if that's the same film. I don't think it is. I know that a week ago there was some news that he's coming out of retirement to do one more or something like that.
What? He's been out of retirement for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Well, trying to work on it. Let me look this up. Director, upcoming. That's like the one thing. Okay.
No, just type in update Miyazaki in Google News or whatever.
Okay. But the thing is, okay, it's already got a runtime. Or maybe they're finished with it. Kimitachi wa do ikoro ga? How do you live? Nice.
Yeah. Bless you.
So excited for that.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the same film that it's been in development for a couple of years.
Because of that, he is.
I don't know. But yeah.
Why we don't believe in Hayao Miyazaki's retirement claims.
No, but if you type it into Google, if there's like a New York Times article that goes like, he prepares to cast one last spell.
Okay.
And it says he's coming out of retirement at 80 years old to do another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can't believe a word that man says because he's been retired like 3 times.
Yeah.
I think he went to retirement before Spirited Away. So
yeah.
Yeah.
See if Tarantino does the same. Yeah. What's your
right?
Wait, your 4 was also Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So my 3.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, let's talk about for the first time ever on this podcast, which I don't know how we've gone 91 episodes. I think we haven't talked about this. My 3 is The Dark Knight.
Well, my 3 is The Dark Knight as well.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, dude. See?
Don't worry. Number 2 and 1 are going to differentiate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so we talked about if we should like do like the movies like on their own, the whole trilogy begins, Dark Knight and Rises. If I had to, I probably like if we split them up, which we didn't do now, Batman Begins would make my list. If I'm being completely honest, I wanted to exclude it for variety.
Sure.
Dark Knight Rises wouldn't have made my list, even though I do enjoy the film. But Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and especially The Dark Knight, I think it's just insane. But both of them would have made my list. But let's talk about the whole trilogy now. I remember, I think I saw The Dark Knight. I definitely saw The Dark Knight in theaters. I don't think I saw Batman Begins in theaters. I think I saw it before The Dark Knight, obviously. And I remember I played the video game to death. Like
that was the video game.
There was a Batman Begins video game that was so freaking good. I remember seeing this in theaters and just being blown away. And I'm not, this is not like a surprising statement. We're talking about one of the most successful, one of the most beloved films and franchises in our time.
Yes.
It's amazing how good this film is. I love the grittiness of it. I love how I know, especially one friend of mine, he always points out that it's taking itself too seriously for him. I enjoy that aspect of it. I enjoy that Nolan wanted to make it as real or as to not make it like over the top, to not make it pulpy, to not make it like so that you don't believe what's going on. You kind of believe it, everything. Christian Bale, fantastic. Obviously, Michael Caine is in almost every Nolan film. as
Yes.
Alfred in this trilogy. He's great. Then you got Katie Holmes and Maggie Gyllenhaal as Rachel. No, but let's Heath Ledger, one of the greatest performances ever as the Joker.
One of the greatest villains of all time. I
Yeah.
mean, the Joker was a big villain before this movie came out, but this is like one of the biggest, and maybe the biggest personification of that character ever.
Yeah.
And it's just, first of all, who didn't fucking quote, do you want to see a magic trick or something like that? Or
With the pencil, yes.
the fucking pencil, and so many other things after this movie came out. He was the movie. Not to say that the rest of it was
Yeah.
bad. I mean, Aaron Eckhart was still good as Two-Face and Gary Oldman was cool
Yes.
as Commissioner Gordon and everything, but he was just the guy. I mean, just the scenes that he's been in. I mean, the hospital scene. What an iconic scene of
Oh.
like him trying to press the fucking button and it doesn't go off like in real life.
Yeah.
And him just, he keeps acting. Imagine what would have happened if he did. Gotta fucking build the setup once more. What a pain in the ass. Great movie. Sorry, didn't want to interrupt you.
No, you did interrupt me. No, all good. You take it. You take it. I mean, it's difficult for me to talk about The Dark Knight because we don't need to pitch this film to anyone.
Sure.
We don't need to say particularly how great it is because I don't know anybody who, even my friend, I think he would still say that it's a good film, you know? I think The Dark Knight is a movie that transcends other movies in its genre as like, I think it's one of the most watched films ever. I think probably everyone, if you go about and watch people like in their 20s, I think 99 out of 100 people will have seen The Dark Knight, maybe even more. And that's sort of when Nolan solidified himself as the director that he's known today, right? When The Dark Knight came out in 2008, Batman Begins was 2005, and then in between he made some other films. But I think the Dark Knight trilogy really solidified himself as the legend that he already is, which he is. Rightfully so, in my opinion. The dude knows what to do. When he flips the truck, obviously, also not a lot of CGI in that film. I love that he wanted to do that practically. I'm struggling to talk about The Dark Knight in like an interesting way because I feel like everything's been said already.
Yeah, I mean, with all of the trilogy, the most iconic Batman, I think, probably. I mean, that's a tough statement. There have been a lot of great Batman performances, like Michael Keaton was very cool and everything.
Yeah,
just the grittiness of it was very cool. Will Arnett in
Lego Batman.
Lego Batman. I'm so sorry. Yeah, of course. But yeah, The Dark Knight was for me probably as well like the point where I kind of knew about Nolan, and was also like the point where my brothers would come up to me, the guy did also Memento. And this was when I watched Memento and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it really became aware of that guy. I mean, now way more than back then, of course. But
for sure, that opening
good
alone from Dark Knight,
so good, yeah,
with the bank robbery, dude, it's such a the little hiss in the background, and the way he shot Joker like from behind, and then he just takes out. It's so good. It has no right to be this good. It has no right to be this good, but he somehow made it. And I think what the quote is: "What you live long enough." As a hero, you see yourself turn into the villain. What is it?
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Thank you. That was much better than what I said. Yes, and made much more sense. Yeah.
What I never got though was the ending where he's like, he's not the hero we need, but is the hero we deserve.
Yes.
But we need a hero that we don't deserve. It's like, what's the hero that you deserve, you pieces of shit? You just shot him and chased him out of the city pretty much.
Yeah.
I really deserve him, but we don't actually need that guy that just saved everyone.
Yeah.
I never really got that quote, to be honest.
Yeah. Sure. But I think Heath Ledger won past humously.
Yes.
After he died,
like he was funny.
Yeah. He won the Academy Award after he sadly passed away, and it's really a tragedy because apart from The Dark Knight, the dude has been incredible in his whole career. Obviously, Brokeback Mountain and
Others.
Yeah, no, I think Monsters Ball. I really enjoyed him in, and
10 Things I Hate About You.
Sure.
Really good. I love that movie.
Yeah, no, it's such a shame that he passed away at such a young age.
Definitely, yeah.
He, I'm grateful that his work will forever be, what's the word?
Immortalized.
Thank you. Yes, and especially so in The Dark Knight. Just incredible.
Yeah. Well put.
What's your? What is
what's
it
your?
now? Oh, dude,
What's your number 2?
My 2 was the one you mentioned already. I think it was your 5. My 2 is The Prestige.
Yeah. Okay.
Nolan after Nolan right now. I think, right? Dark Knight, Prestige. Yep. The Prestige, it was your 5, right?
Yes, it was.
We talked about this film on the Scarlett Johansson special, and I didn't really put it as high as I wanted to, because Scarlett Johansson, although being an integral part of the story, is not really her film.
Sure.
Now I want to put it where it's really ranking on my where it's supposed to be. I adore The Prestige. I love that film so much. I love the magic aspect of the whole thing. I love the intrigue. I love the battle between Christian Bale's character and Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is an actor that I really thoroughly enjoy as well. Obviously, Michael Caine once again, Rebecca Hall, Scarlett Johansson,
Andy Serkis, David Bowie.
Of course, David Bowie as Tesla. Tesla. Oh, it's a Tesla, right?
Yeah, Nikola Tesla.
I'm so confused there for a second. Yep. What can we say about The Prestige, though, that hasn't been said?
That's a good question. I gotta say, I haven't rewatched this, sadly. It's been some time since I actually saw it. I think.
Right.
Sometime, a couple of years at least. But what I remember, the mystery of it and the way they reveal the story, and it just gets bigger and bigger of like how they up each other and their tricks, and just the fucking dark turn it takes is really fucking good. I mean, good performances by good actors. What can you say? But it is also, one reason why it's the best Nolan. I mean, Nolan has a very dark feel to it, like his movies and pretty much everything he does.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. But I think this is one of the times he does it best. I mean, apart from, of course, The Dark Knight, but this is in a way even more serious tone, of course, that makes it so cool. I didn't see it coming when I first saw it, and it does raise some very cool questions and just makes you rewatch it to, actually take in what actually happened before your eyes.
Yeah. Dude, I remember, and I don't know if I want to bring this up because it's going to open a box, but when I don't think you were in that car ride, but I remember that a friend of ours, Steven, right? So we were on vacation with you as well, but I think we were in different cars. Steven had seen The Prestige previously, right? So for the first time, and he and we're going to go into spoilers now, but I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was so interesting because he had a theory that I think his theory was that Christian Bale's twin brother was cloned. Right?
Yeah.
Which isn't implied in the film though, right? So then we looked it up, and everyone in the car had seen the film, so it was actually a really interesting discussion. There were some theories on the internet, and I hate my brain right now because there was something in the film that made Steven go like, he's a clone too, right? And there are theories that sort of, validate that theory, or validate that theory. Well, validate that thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously,
yeah,
it's interesting, right?
It's interesting because I actually forgot that they were brothers. What I remembered of the movie, I thought they were clones. That's how I had the movie in my memory.
No, but Hugh Jackman is the guy who, I think what it was is that, and once again, I apologize if I'm wrong, but fuck it, I've been wrong so many times already. I think it's that Hugh Jackman's character, he hears about Tesla through Christian Bale's character. That implies that Christian Bale's character has met Tesla before and therefore knows that cloning thing.
Right, I thought he did it once and that was enough, but Hugh Jackman took it to the extreme and made them, dispensable.
Right. So that's interesting. So you always thought they were clones?
At least that's how I remembered the movie, yeah. It's been years since I saw it.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen it too, unfortunately, but there are many theories on this film. I remember from seeing it the last time, I thought that it was Christian Bale. He has a twin brother. That's how he fooled Hugh Jackman's character.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you got those scenes where he's cutting off his finger or arm just to match his brother to appear as one guy. And Hugh Jackman clones himself to be able to do the trick that Christian Bale's character is able to do with his twin brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I remember it. And obviously with that haunting ending of like seeing like all of the dead clones in the basement or whatever. But it's certainly, I want to rewatch it to see if he has a point or not. He definitely has a point because people have come up with a theory as well. It's interesting. And it's a film that you want to talk about, and that sort of solidified my my love for the film as well. I mean, everyone loved that film in their car too, and it's got a certain magic to it, that film, and no pun intended. It really does. And I love to spend time in that world that he built. I really do. And obviously with Kane explaining everything with the plot, the prestige and the turn or something like that. Definitely
like how
not,
you set up a trick, yeah.
Yeah, definitely not the right three things, but you know what I mean. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, you love the film too, right? Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, there are reasons why I would maybe put it above The Dark Knight, for example, but Dark Knight has these very iconic characters for me, which is why I always love the movie when I rewatch it for some reason.
Yeah.
The prestige, the feeling, like the story, and like you said, how it reveals itself makes you want to talk about it, and this is why I like this movie so much and put it even above Django Unchained, which is a movie that's just pure entertainment, and I love that movie. But Prestige's got this very own twist to it.
Yeah. What's your 2 then?
My 2 is Reservoir Dogs. Not going to be on your list, I would guess.
Oh, dude. How is... Okay, we'll talk about it. No, unfortunately, this is one of the... I knew it. But it is my 11, if that's any consolation. I do like that film a lot. I had to cut it. I had to cut it.
Insomnia above Reservoir Dogs, I am not sure, but...
Yes. It's rewatchability for me. And I respect and admire Reservoir Dogs for what it is. But for whatever reason, I don't find myself wanting to rewatch Reservoir Dogs. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
I want to rewatch it right now.
Okay.
I mean, Reservoir Dogs, the breakout movie for Tarantino. It was his feature film debut, as far as I know. I think he did one movie. It's like an hour long, like a student film or whatever.
Yes.
But I'm not going to count that. I don't think he counts this as well. And Reservoir Dogs, if you don't know the story, the fuck are you doing? It's one of the best Tarantinos out there. It's about bank robbers. It's got this very iconic name system, which is just so cool about, Mr. Pink, Mr. White, Mr. Orange, Mr. Black, etc. Is there even a Mr. Black? I'm not sure about
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown is there in there, and Mr. Blue is in there. But I don't think there's a Mr. Black. I'm not sure.
Remember, yeah.
You got Harvey Keitel, Steve Buscemi, Tim Roth, and one of the greatest conversations about Madonnas, like a virgin ever. It is dialogue, and it's dialogue done at one of its very best in a Tarantino movie or ever, in my opinion. It's just so entertaining to listen to those very eccentric but cool characters. Talking about songs about Mr. Orange, Tim Roth, how he tries to infiltrate that group as a undercover cop and tries to pass himself off, and working with so many.
Spoiler.
I think that's really quite early.
No. Is it?
Well, spoilers. I think so, because in all the flashbacks you see it, right?
I mean, we said that we're going to do spoilers anyway. I was just joking there, but if I remember correctly, that's not revealed until the latter half of the film. No.
Yeah, it's been some time, sadly, since I saw it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, and him being shot, trying to get help, but it's very hard, and just from that awful situation after the heist or the robbery to the flashbacks, how they got together. I love Steve Buscemi in this as Mr. Pink. It's one of my favorite roles of his.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel as well. And Tim Roth also. I mean, he's been in quite a few Tarantino movies and in other things. And I gotta say, overall, I think this is my favorite performance of his.
Yeah, it's gotta be up there, yeah.
got also one of the greatest uses of soundtrack, like the ear cutting scene,
Yeah.
one iconic scene by Michael Madsen.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, who hasn't listened to Steeler Wheels Stuck in the Middle with You? And I'm sure it's mostly because of that movie, like repopularizing that song.
Yeah. And the other actor, Kirk Baltz.
Yes.
The guy who gets his ear cut off.
Yeah, he's like the cop that he takes
Yeah. I know
hostage,
that actor's name.
Who's Kurt Baltz, yeah.
Yeah. My mother has taken some acting lessons from him. So
From him?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That's why I know his name.
In Vienna.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Multiple. Yeah. I don't know if it was in, but definitely in Austria. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. He's teaching acting now. So yeah.
How'd you get your ear cut off?
Yeah. Convincingly though.
But yeah, I mean, it is one of the more well-known, I think,
You think so?
Tarantino's. I mean, more well-known. It's like Inglourious Basterds, Kill Bill, Django, etc. is above it, but I would maybe think above Hateful Eight. At least I feel like I've talked about Reservoir Dogs more with people. It's like more iconic, I guess. Just
think
from
a
that
lot of-
alone, it's older.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were put off from Hateful Eight's runtime and didn't watch it.
Yes, I think so as well. I think, yeah, Hateful Eight and also, of course, Death Proof are probably his least watched
Yeah.
movies, especially Death Proof. I don't think many people know even that that's a Tarantino movie
Maybe.
if they're not fans of his.
Maybe.
But yeah, it's just it's a great movie. I love the dialogue between the characters, like I said, insulting each other, just getting to know each other, and it's just such a different world. I mean, why is it on your 11?
I mean, once again, another like a film that is set in one location, mostly one location, which is like
Well, apart from flashbacks,
sure. But it's like the typical first film where you don't have to have a lot of locations,
Sure.
Good for the budget. But I love those films, like with Hateful Eight. I love these contained thrillers or action films or whatever. But I don't know. The ear cutting scene is one of my favorite Tarantino scenes. It is as iconic as it is, as basic as that statement might be. It is the truth.
And I'm sure we say so many about so many scenes of Tarantino's that are iconic, but the funny thing is, I'm sure it's based on another iconic scene from a movie that Tarantino saw when he was young.
Maybe. But I can't say, dude. This was one of the toughest lists to put together because there are missions that warrants a place in the top 10, and Reservoir Dogs is one of those films. I don't find myself wanting to rewatch it. That's maybe if I had seen it again. I haven't seen it in like 6 years again, so it's been such a long time too. But it's such a cool film as well. Like all of their outfits too. It's
like
it's what they're going for. Yeah, the walk they
Yeah.
have. Yes, it's great.
Fair.
I can't say anything bad about it.
Right. So let's go to the best thing that you've seen of either director, meaning if this is a Nolan pick, we know what your favorite Tarantino is apparently, and if it's a Tarantino pick, we know what your favorite Nolan is.
Yeah, and this is, I am a bit surprised because this is not on your list at all.
Yes, didn't make it. Reason why is something that you mentioned at the beginning of this episode, which is rewatchability.
Okay. So I was hesitant to put this as my number one because once again, probably a very basic and predictable thing to do. And it is one of the most beloved films of the director. It ended up as my number one today.
I'm surprised. Yeah, it wasn't even your number one from, whatchamacallit? DiCaprio, right? Or was it?
No, that was Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street, yeah.
Yes. But the best thing I've seen now is Inception. And not on your list, which is a surprise. I remember you saying that you excluded it on the sci-fi special because of the sci-fi elements of it. But did we talk about it on the DiCaprio? Did you have it on your list in the DiCaprio special? Probably, right?
I would think so, but I think in the latter half of the list.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
I mean, it's not the most surprising. It's not the most maybe original pick. But it ended up being Inception. Saw this in theaters, being
one of the biggest. Yeah,
I was blown away from the. I think from the first scene. And I didn't really know what to expect. You once again have Nolan obviously playing with his favorite element of time. And I love the premise. I love going deeper into your dreams, going into dreams within dreams, and to extract information out of dreams, basically. It's such a cool premise. And you have DiCaprio in there. You have Tom Hardy in there. Probably the first film where I really noticed Tom Hardy. Once again, Michael Caine, Cillian Murphy, who's going to be the star of the new Christopher Nolan film, by the way.
Cillian Murphy.
Yes, he's going to be the leading actor.
Very good.
Yes. Oppenheimer. It's a film about Oppenheimer, I think.
Interesting, yeah. Cool. Nadine, German. Was Oppenheimer German? Right? He was German.
Oppenheimer was... no, he was an
American.
American.
Oh, really? A very
yes.
German name. Okay.
I think so. Yes, the father of the atomic bomb. But yeah, I mean, everything about it with the what's the English word for that tool they use, the spinning thing?
Dreidel? No, that's
a dreidel.
I think that's a Jewish name for like a dreidel that you spin it and then lands on a certain character. Whatever.
It says top when I Google it. Spinning top. A spinning top, but that
maybe
those totems that they have that they use in order to figure out whether they're in a dream or not, and the way that Nolan plays with that at the end, where you don't really know if DiCaprio is in. I love his playfulness with that whole thing because he wants to. You can argue it's frustrating, sure, and people are analyzing the scene whether or not it tips over at the very last frame or whatever. I think it's fun and sort of fits the film.
It's funner because he cut before that, yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
And you talking about the opening scene makes me think, yeah, this is fun. It is a cool movie. You're definitely right. And I don't know. I had such a good time when I first watched it, but I've seen it a couple of times since. It wasn't as fun then, sadly. Still entertaining, but that's why I didn't put it on my list, I think. Just the magic kind of wore off for me after a couple of times. But it is an entertaining movie. Just the other movies, I think I would have more fun rewatching.
Yeah, and it's an affecting movie too. Like those scenes, like that hotel room flashbacks with like Marion Cotillard and DiCaprio. Maul is her name or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Don't remember.
And Cobb as DiCaprio's character, but I remember being affected by those scenes too, and kind of like scared for DiCaprio's character.
Right.
Really, really good stuff there. I liked Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Ellen Page. Now Elliot Page.
Ken Watanabe.
Ken
Great
Watanabe.
actor.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Very cool guy. Yeah, you're right.
Beautiful soundtrack once again by Hans Zimmer.
Once again, also what you mentioned with the Dark Knight practical effects for like the spinning room. Yeah.
Yeah. And Hans Zimmer.
And Hans Zimmer?
Yeah, the spinning room dude for sure with Arthur, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah. I love that little, I don't know why that scene jumps out now, but where he goes like to Elliot Page, where he goes like, kiss me, because that it was worth a shot.
Sure.
Yeah. No, it's for the premise alone, for the experience of watching this for the first time, and for the once again, I've said this before today, for the scale of the film, for the epicness of the whole thing. You're watching someone, whether or not you enjoy it or not, Nolan knows what he wants to do. Nolan knows what he's doing and what he wants to do. And he has a story in his mind, and he knows every little element that he wants to put on screen and he wants to convey, and he puts it on there. And it feels like you're watching someone who loves the medium and who loves to tell intricate stories. And Inception is sort of the prime example in his filmography for me for that. So it ended up as my number one now, but I have and that bothered me too. My number 1, 2, and 3 are all Nolan films, and it doesn't bother me because I stand by the films. I love them, but I'm just as big a fan of Tarantino as I am of Nolan, I guess. Well, apparently not, but I
mean, then according to you, your favorite Tarantino is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I almost said it before, but then I didn't want to give away that was my last one. But that's what it ended up looking like now. Yes.
Fair enough. It is a good movie.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Let's talk about your number one.
My number one might be boring. It is probably the most acclaimed or just most classic Tarantino movie out there. Yes, it is a Tarantino movie. It is Pulp Fiction, of course, the Tarantino movie. I think the movie that Reservoir Dogs put him on the map. Was a start, but Pulp Fiction, solidified his style. Just how he does things. So many actors that he was then going on to star with or direct in other movies. And it is the storytelling that he does in so many movies, which I love. And he does so well in this movie, which is, first of all, different characters, maybe different storylines, but also playing also with time, with the chronological order of things, like mixing it up is so good and is so unexpected. Because you like characters so much and then you see them in another story suddenly, which is cool and then also shocking what they do there, for example. Beating around the bush, I'm sure everybody has seen it, but whatever. There's this great fucking scene, of course, where they see where Bruce Willis sees Marcellus Wallace walking along the street. It just hits with his car, which I love. It's such a good scene. There's so many, this movie is iconic scene after iconic scene. If it's the briefcase, if it is the fucking shooting in the head in the fucking car, if it's Kahuna Burgers, if it's fucking Honey Bunny and Pumpkin in the fucking diner, if it's the badass motherfucker wallet.
Yep. The twist or whatever.
The twist.
Yeah.
The fucking dance they do, of course. It is all of those things together. It's the music. It's You'll Be a Woman Soon while fucking Uma Thurman decides to snort a whole lot of heroin.
Yeah.
It's all of those scenes that make me love this movie. And I watched this movie not late, but I think later than some people. And I heard so many good things and I didn't know what to expect. And when I first saw this movie, I was blown away. Like what it did, how it looked. Pulpy is a good word to describe pretty much all of his movies from then on. But it's just the colors and how extreme it is. The fucking hair of and beard of Samuel L. Jackson's character and John Travolta's. It's just so much at the same time, and all of it is good, and all of it is entertaining. And you rewatch it, and then you kind of put the stories back together, and it's some of my favorite performances or great characters by a lot of actors. Like Bruce Willis is so fucking good at this, for example, and I love his character as the boxer trying to get away from things after he refuses to give up on a fight.
Yeah. Dude, so many great scenes. The Gimp, yeah, of course. What the fuck? When you first see that scene, you don't know what's going on. You didn't think a movie could do that. Or at least I didn't when I watched it at like 12 or whatever, or 13. It was like the most fucking random scene at that moment. And then him taking the fucking katana, like choosing his weapon, not sure what to choose there. Just so funny. I mean, it's hard to say anything about that movie that hasn't been said a million times. But I think it's fair to say that this is like the start of Tarantino's greatness. Yes.
There'd be so many good movies. I mean, it's love for Reservoir Dogs a whole lot, but it's like his very special style materializing and instant fucking classic.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably the movie that's most solidified in today's pop culture. I mean, it's referenced everywhere.
Yeah.
Once again, rightfully so. I agree with everything you said. You do enjoy this a bit more than me, but I can't fault it in any way. It's an iconic film. It's 8.
Okay.
But dude, it could be higher. It's such a tricky list for me to put together.
Yeah, of course.
Uma Thurman, as in Kill Bill, she's great in this. And dude, Bruce Willis back when he made good films and
when he had hair.
Back when he had hair, yes. And obviously, like Travolta's career being revitalized by Tarantino.
Of course,
and yeah, dude. So many great scenes, and I still want to know what's in the box.
Sam was just made as a reaction to.
Yeah, it was. Well, 7 came out in 95, so it was the year after. Makes complete sense. Yeah.
It's fast. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is. My favorite. Tarantino's apparently Pulp Fiction. My favorite. Nolan is The Dark Knight. Some fucking very iconic movies with iconic characters. And for you, I guess Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Inception. Also big and great fucking movies.
What was your 2?
My 2 was Reservoir Dogs.
So you have 2 Tarantinos on your number 1 and 2.
Yes.
And 3 was The Prestige, right?
Right. I mean, you had
The
a
Dark
bit more
Knight?
of an... 3 was The Dark Knight, yeah.
Okay.
5 was Prestige. I mean, I gotta say, I've got 8 or 7 Tarantino. 1 was only written.
Wow.
And 2 Nolans. And you have 4 to 6. What was it?
I have 5 Nolans and 5 Tarantinos.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
That's good.
Look
That's
at
good,
that. Yeah, as if it was planned. Let's talk about honorables. Let's talk about omissions
Yes.
and honorable mentions. What about Jackie Brown?
Was my number 10 for a long time, and then
It's
I
a great
knocked it
film.
off.
Isn't it great?
Fun. It is such a fun movie. It's got great fucking scenes, and I do love Jackie Brown and Max Cherry's interactions. Sweet couple.
So good. Actually,
So good.
I think Robert Forster was nominated for an Academy Award for that.
Yes, he
performance.
was.
Yeah.
And it was like after him having apparently a big slump in his career, and that kind of also put him back on the map.
Yeah. Really, really good. And probably, I gotta say, one of my favorite De Niro roles.
It is funny, and apparently he hated it because he had such a small role. Because he wanted
Did he hate it?
He wanted the role of Max Cherry. Apparently,
Did he really? Did he really? Okay. I was surprised that he took the smaller part. In 90, whatever it was, 7, 6, when he was one of the biggest actors ever already. But
I was like, also, what should I rewatch for this? And I was like, Jackie Brown is one of the movies that I least remember.
Yeah.
Let's watch it. And when I thought of Jackie Brown in my head, I was like, what? De Niro is in this. Like, what a weird fucking matchup, a matchup that I completely forgot about.
yeah. And I just noticed this because I thought you would be surprised at this not being on my list. It's not on your list either. Memento didn't make it either.
Also, because the rewatch factor.
I'm
At some
so
point,
surprised
it's so
by
good
this.
the first time, but the second time it's okay.
Yeah, exactly what I'm thinking. But I actually, for me, this is more like interesting because of the gimmick than the story.
Right.
I remember being confused as hell when I saw this.
I think everybody is the first time, kind of. But I thought this might make your like 10 or 9. But
I thought
when
this
it
would
didn't
be
show up.
in your top 5 or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it the first time, but I rewatched it a couple of years ago and it was all right.
Okay.
Because when you already know what is about to happen. Yeah, it is the gimmick behind it, less the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do we
I
have?
watched for the first time 4 Rooms, like I said, and I said Reservoir Dogs was the best performance by Tim Roth, but this is my favorite performance by Tim Roth.
Good.
It's so funny, but the reason it's not on my list is there are 4 segments, each directed by a different director and writer, but Tarantino was my second to least favorite.
Really? What was your favorite?
Yeah.
Banderas?
Yeah.
It's
Banderas,
the best
misbehaviors.
by far. The Robert Rodriguez one, right? I think he directed that one.
Yes,
it's hysterical. A friend of mine showed it to me. We watched this years and years ago because he was like, "We have to see this. I have to see this." And dude, when he starts puking, when he realizes that that the prostitute is dead under the bed, it's one of the funniest scenes.
Oh, I had to laugh so hard as well.
It's so because it's shot in such a good way.
And he keeps talking. It's so good.
It's so good, man.
Yeah. But also a very weird foot scene. That's why I thought for a second it might be directed by Tarantino.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it as well.
Oh, it's so freaking good.
Very quickly, it's a question that I want to ask you. What's your favorite stories from 4 Rooms? Or I guess now you said that's your favorite. What's the second favorite?
Dude, I loved the Tarantino one too.
Yeah.
I really did. For me, the least favorite one would be the women one.
The Witches. That's my second favorite.
Really?
I preferred it. I think Room 404, the hostage thing, is my least favorite.
I would go as my like 3 out of 4.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this, but I actually do remember that quite well. Yeah, but dude, nothing's better than the Banderas one.
Right.
Death Proof. I thoroughly like Death Proof.
I rewatched it also for this. Because I also didn't remember a lot of it. It's weird though, because
it is weird.
It's like 2 or 3 movies combined.
Yeah.
Then a very fast ending, which is cool. I mean, Zoe Bell doing her own stunts.
Yes.
Playing herself.
Yes.
Very impressive. But yeah, it's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah. I mean, I know not a lot of people like that, or a lot of people don't like that movie, but I enjoyed it. It's cut weird. It's got like a lot
very
of
weird. Yeah.
Very abrupt cuts. Yeah. But
like apparently they manually like stretch the film.
Yeah.
To give it that weird old movie vibe, which is
Yeah.
cool, but it
Yeah.
makes it cut in audio and video at times. I mean, I gotta say, I think it's my least favorite Tarantino.
Oh yeah, okay, sure. For me that would probably be Hateful Eight, but they're all good.
Okay.
They're all good. And what I forgot to say with Jackie Brown, I think like Insomnia in Nolan's filmography, I think Jackie Brown is sort of the one that stands out in Tarantino's as well from the films that he directed. It feels like once again, like a more straightforward story than his other films. He does implement some brutal things as well towards the end, but I read something as well that he sort of like put them in and didn't make them as blatant and as gory as he usually does.
Yes.
So I do think that sort of Insomnia and Jackie Brown are sort of like the odd ones out, but in a good way, in both of their filmographies.
Yeah, and also Dunkirk. Speaking of Nolan, I think could have had a spot on this. I think a great war movie.
Yeah,
I
that
love
wasn't
seeing
in
this in cinema.
contention for me. Just like,
Okay.
I think Dunkirk was good. One of my favorite cinematic experiences when I saw this in IMAX 70 millimeters. But still, the film, it was a spectacle and it was grandiose and it was beautiful to look at. But the story itself didn't really.
It's simple,
hook me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Tenet was a disappointment.
Yes, I think for all of us.
Unfortunately, yeah. I still haven't rewatched it, but maybe with subtitles it's more interesting.
Right. In slow motion.
Yeah, maybe. But I think that's about it. So I think we've gone through everything.
Yeah, those are all the things that
mean,
they did. I mean, nothing
Sin
really
City.
bad. Yeah, I think didn't he direct a segment of that?
I think so.
But I don't know which one. So,
Tarantino, yeah.
I mean, it's a fun movie, but to put it on for that.
Yeah.
No way against the other picks here. I mean, yeah, those are some of the biggest movies of our time, like you said.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
great
I mean-
to do them in one list. It's
For
a
sure.
weird one.
For sure. And actually, I'm surprised that our lists didn't differ as much as I thought.
What did you expect?
Well, I expected Memento to be high on your list. I expected, that was true, Reservoir Dogs to be high on your list. Pulp Fiction to be a lot higher.
Yes,
But I was
a lot
surprised.
higher.
Sorry. No. Yeah, but that was right.
Okay.
That's what I meant by differing. It
Okay,
was
okay.
only my number 8, and I knew
Okay,
that was going to be
sure.
higher for you. I knew that Interstellar wasn't going to be on your list, but I didn't think that all the things that we had in common were actually mostly in the same
Yeah,
position.
like a 7 to 3 were pretty much the same. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
just like 1 or
similar.
2. Yeah. Yep.
Right.
That's about it. I mean, 2 really fantastic directors. All of their films are worth seeking out, and I'm looking forward to the next one. What's going on?
I just thought of Tim Roth again in 4
In
Rooms.
4 Rooms.
It's a funny movie.
It's a good one.
funny movie.
It's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. I
Right.
mean, that's it. Let's wrap this up. We have. Do we have anything? Do we need to talk about anything? I think episode
Upcoming?
93
I
next
think
week.
so.
Obviously,
very
regular episode.
yeah.
And
I don't know. Happy incoming holidays? Not yet.
happy incoming holidays. Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
had
don't know.
snow in Vienna. I loved it.
We
Took a
did.
long walk. I mentioned this in the last week's episode. I'm very sorry.
Yeah. All good. I
but
mean,
apart from that,
yeah. Apart from that, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please tell us your favorites.
yes,
of-
please.
Of both of them. It's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of different opinions on there. I don't think that's. I think it's an interesting concept to put their films together. I think it's going to be tricky for many people to choose.
Two very different directors.
But also like 2 directors that admire their work. Or admire each other's work. I remember
Right.
that Tarantino said that Dunkirk was his second favorite film of the 21st century.
Didn't even put it on a list. That's too bad.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it as my number 10 now.
I don't know if it was
Quentin.
21st century or 2010s. I remember
Okay.
that his number 1 is The Social Network,
Right.
and number
Just for you.
just for me, and number 2 was Dunkirk. And there's a clip of like Nolan interviewing Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Nice.
where he raves about his work as well. So yeah, 2 of the greats. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and as always, cook something good, watch something good, and that's it from me.
Right. Thank you so much for listening to this special episode. You can always find us on any podcast platforms out there pretty much. consider visiting us at Best Thing Radio on Twitter and Instagram. Check out the thumbnail that Flo is going to do. Might help him seek out a couple of pictures of iconic Tarantino moments, movies, and Nolan movies and characters. Consider dropping a like, a subscribe, check us out. Yeah, I already said that. Sorry. Got confused there.
No, but with the like, sorry to interrupt you, please, I mentioned this again because I haven't in a while. Please, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever, please do us a favor. Head on over to YouTube, type in Best Thing We've Seen, and just leave a like on this video, right? It just helps us out. It's the little things. It doesn't take much of your time, but it helps us out a lot. So please do that. Or write a review on Apple Podcasts, anything. Please, the little things that help, that would be much appreciated.
Yes. Maybe get some other people into the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. It's been great. I had a good sandwich before we started this, and I think I'm going to make another one. Have a great time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. A Royale with cheese?
It is with cheese, but
Sure.
it's the end of the Royale. It's going to be in there? Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for an incredible film, for all of your work, and thank you very much for coming to talk to us tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
We ever dared you.